The police state ends with me. We made it one more day. Picking up where we left off yesterday, if you remember, I was dumbfounded and just waddled back to the house after discovering a police officer stealing my trash can. So just after 8 a.m. that same day, that same morning, of Friday, March the 6th, 2015, I called the city and spoke to the same lady that had been helping me all along in regards to my missing trash can. I filled her in on my security cameras catching a police officer stealing my can, and she was not pleased. She informed me it was stealing and that I needed to file a police report. She actually said she knew that police officer based on where he lived, and that I needed to report him because he was breaking the law. I also later called the FBI, as that's who you call when a local police department commits a crime against you. I mean, what do you call that department? Apparently so, because the FBI, I called them twice, and they told me to file a police report with the Bartlesville Police. They're the people that committed the crime. So I did, even though it was very uncomfortable. I did, and never heard back on my complaint of theft. A couple hours later, on the same day, Friday, March the 6th, 2015, there was a loud banging on my front door, a booming voice yelling, "Police!" Now, I'm not ashamed to say I was scared to death, I figured the police weren't pleased with me, catching them stealing my trash can, especially on video, with my security cameras. I thought to grab my camcorder and open the front door with my heart in my throat. It was a police officer, of course, because they were yelling, "Police." He informed me he was the investigator. He was very aggressive and demanded I go down to the station. My only real encounter with the police and had been, a speeding ticket over 20 years ago. But I knew I didn't have to go anywhere unless I was under arrest, so I asked him if I was under arrest, and he said no. So I said, "Then I can't go with you." I was polite as possible, and I stated I appreciated all the police do, as I was raised by my grandfather, who was actually a retired police officer. Now, I'll point out I don't really count that as contact with police or knowing exactly how they behave, because he was retired and he was my grandfather, not a police officer to me. But I told that police officer, he was very aggressive, that I can't go with him. He seemed very angry and said fine and left. And let me point out again, he was so aggressive and angry. I really thought it was going to come to blows. I mean, he was up on his tiptoes with his finger in my face, and then he jumped up and sat on my stairs railing and broke it loose from the house. And just generally was trying. I think he was just doing everything he could to get me to do anything wrong so he could arrest me. He was out of control and very threatening, and I figured it was going to come to blows. So I went in the house, shut the door, and locked it, because I don't know if he was trying to get me to do that or if he was about to do it, but he was aggressive. And, I got this on video, but they stole the video. So a few hours later, I was, in the backyard with my little dog, and I heard a bunch of cars pulling up. It was 5 police officers and apparently a Washington County DA, district attorney, and they had a search warrant without my name on it and with the wrong address. Now, I pointed this out to them and asked them to leave, but they wouldn't. The warrant read something about looking for evidence of harassment or stalking. I was shocked, to say the least. Once we're through with this information, I'll tell you what they really were looking for and why, and how my previous employer was involved in sharing my private medical information with the police. They needed to get my videos of them stealing and such, and they rushed over to do that. I mean, that's what this really was about, I think. Of course, who knows? But they proceeded to detain me outside while they tore my house apart, flipping over the bed, going through the refrigerator, my safe, every single thing you can think of. They turned the house upside down, tracking mud all over the house, even getting mud on the walls. Yes, mud on the walls. Now, and also think about, they say they were looking for evidence of harassment and stalking in my refrigerator? In my storm shelter? Well, they said that involved my computer equipment, which is my video equipment. Which, anyway, I'll move on. I'm going off on a tangent. They did not arrest me, but took, from what I could tell, all of my computers, phone, I only have a cell phone, computer backups, every electronic device in the house. I don't own a television. I read a lot, so I use the internet for that. And, books. Everything, as well as my security videos, recording, and other police stealing from me. I mean, that was what they took. They refused to provide me with an inventory of what they took, or provide any evidence or probable cause for what they took from me. Only the search warrant, which didn't have my name on it and had the wrong address. But, 5 armed to the teeth police officers, and I was in the backyard with my little dog in sweatpants, they'd killed me. Had I said no, they'd killed me. That's the situation it is there were armed robbers coming over here. And I'm getting off on a tangent, and I'm extremely angry right now, and you can probably tell it. I don't normally get angry, I get disappointed, but I go back and forth between, what is it, the 5 stages of grief, anger, and, anger and depression go before acceptance, and I believe I've accepted this, but I still pop back and forth between these feelings. Anyway, I'll move on. Like I said, they didn't arrest me, they just took all those things, refused to give me any evidence. Remember, they're really looking for something else, and it will be good for you to ponder that before I tell you about it as I move through this information, because I just recently found out all the data of what they're really looking for. But it'll be good for you to think about, what do police look for when they go through people's trash in the first place? I mean, most people know what that is. Along with how my former employer put them on me and had access to my medical records. What were they looking for? And like I said, I'll tell you about that. The investigator told me at the time, we're going back now to the time of when they were here, as he was leaving, that Mike Moore, Chief Operating Officer of Jane Phillips Medical Center, said I've been sending him threatening letters, and that James Brazel, the Chief Financial Officer of Jane Phillips Medical Center, claims I've been following him around and taking pictures of him, stalking him. These are absolute lies. There's just no other way to put it. No nice words for such a thing. You're just lucky I'm not cussing a blue streak here. These are simply lies. Lies coming from 2 people I have known since the 7th grade. Grade school, and actually graduated from college, with James Brazel. He was a year ahead of me in high school, but we graduated college together. I consider them both friends, although we hadn't spoken since shortly after I left the hospital back in 2009. And I'll just, for a second tell you about James Brazel. I mean, I went to his wedding. I helped him move twice. We took virtually every class in college together. I was the guy that when he went deer hunting and shot a deer too big, he'd come pop by my apartment at the time, and say, hey, will you help me drag this huge deer out of the woods? And I'd just go do it with him. I would help him. I was his friend. I did nothing but help him. I gave him references for his jobs to help his career. I was a reference for him to become a fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives, and because I was already board certified, for him to sit for the exam to become board certified in healthcare management. I have given him references. I was his good friend. And how and why he would do this is just a manipulation from the former supervisor, I guess, that harassed me, and just a general of the organization disliking me and not wanting me on the city council in the ward they're sitting in. I'm going off on a tangent. I'll continue to do that just for a moment, but I reported this to the media, and the media questioned this too. One of the headlines is that you can look up online, is search warrant based on executive hunch. That was was the reporter's headline. Well, the Supreme Court has ruled that warrants can't be based on hunches. There has to be evidence. A hunch is not good enough to tear somebody's life apart, threaten them with prison time. She also, in one of the 2 articles this reporter wrote, questioned the validity of the search warrant at all. That what they're claiming, that they're saying I've done doesn't even meet the law. That stalking and harassment is so egregious and so disgusting that it involves a person fearing for their life, it being done to them multiple times, I think in person, and for them to actually communicate they don't want the person around. Well, I didn't go near these people, and I haven't stalked them or nothing, let alone them telling me to stop. I mean, if they thought I did, wouldn't they have told me to stop? But I didn't, and it's just insane. But again, you'll see in the end that they were really looking for something else, and they needed to get my security equipment because I caught them stealing from me. And that it's possible this entire thing is made up, you know, just to have a reason to get a judge to sign a search warrant. But the judge rubber stamped it. I mean, you can't go off of a hunch. I mean, the whole thing is nothing but a frame up on me. Okay, well, I'll get back to it now. You'll notice I'm using names now. Well, there's no way around me using names, see, because this is public record, and the police in Jane Phillips Medical Center and these people I'm mentioning made it that way. You can read all about this in what's called the warrant affidavit that was filed with the Washington County of Oklahoma, Washington County Courthouse, and you can retrieve it from there. You can get it. That's how they wouldn't give it to me. I couldn't get it, but the media got it. The one reporter that would report on it, I reported this everywhere. I mean, if you're trying to think of, well, why don't you get a lawyer? I've spoken to 11. If you're trying to think, well, why don't you report it here, here, and here, and here, and here? I've reported it everywhere. If you're saying, well, I wonder if he reported it here, the answer is yes. It would be easier for me to tell you where I haven't reported it, which would be, I haven't technically reported it officially to my dog, but everywhere else I have. I have not made this private. I have brought this forward, and it's just been, I've filed an official complaint with the FBI, official complaint with the EEOC, official complaint with the Office of Civil Rights, which I'll get into that more later as well, and with the FBI, with the City Council, with everyone, with the Bartlesville Police themselves. No one will even address it. This is a police state we live in, and it is fixed. It is rigged. And that's why, again, I'm sorry I'm taking so long and ranting today, but I'm upset. But that's why, again, I'm going back to, that's why I believe this is going to end with the Bartlesville Police killing me, because I haven't shut up about it, and I've gone public with it. And there's absolutely no consequence for them doing this to me, and there'll be no consequence when they kill me. No one's going to look into it, you know. But I'll have to end this for today, and we'll be back at this again tomorrow. I'll try to be more calm then, and you know, pick back up where we're leaving off, which was in my driveway with the DA and the police. So with that said, I'll see you tomorrow.